Hi Jose, it's Miss Strother, and I am here with your screencast of your draft. I know you added a lot into it since you first turned it in, and I'm really proud of what you've got here so far. I went ahead and put it into a Word document so that I can play with it and it won't change anything in your document, so that you can go back and learn how to make these edits yourself. So the first thing that I do is I kind of go through the rubric and I look for the really basic things that I can see just from glancing at it. So far I can see that poor Mr. Thompson didn't get a capital letter. So you can fix that, and that right here you want to have a space in between the comma and the 2014. Doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it is important on some level. And then also you want to have right here in the middle, so you can click on that button to put it in the middle. You want to have a title and something unique. A unique title. So hopefully not something like The Supernatural, because you could do just a little bit better than that. I can see here, I don't know, I struggle with this because it makes sense and it sounds better in the grand scheme of things to say can't. But one of the things on your rubric is that you may not have contractions, and this is a contraction. So you would have to do cannot or cannot. It depends on the situation. Okay, also you want to make sure that you are italicizing. Every time you see the Odyssey, you want to make sure it's italicized. And capitalize Odysseus. Sorry if you can hear my cat crying in the background. She's been whining today. I think I might put these together. And this one, remember, you gotta capitalize and italicize books. So make sure you're working on that. Stephen King, why doesn't he get capital letters when Jose Mejia does? Again, some contractions, so make sure you're working on those. Okay, these should go up here for above your thesis. This kind of looks like your thesis. Okay, we'll come back and work on your introduction in just a minute. You can see you're still having some trouble making sure to italicize and to capitalize the Odyssey. That's fine. And here, make sure that you fix that contraction. What's this? What's this? Take it out. Remove your hyperlink. Oh, maybe it's going away. Weird. And I see you have a beautiful works cited list. This is great. You should make sure that you're capitalizing everything. And there's this kind of, oh, here we go. In the shadow of war. Yep, that's good. Mary Frost should be capitalized. Now, there's this kind of funny thing we do in works cited lists where we make sure that we have a hanging indent so that you know that the world is not a brand new line. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read your introduction. The supernatural has something happening, something that cannot be explained. How about if we do this? Something that cannot be explained. Oh, hon, you don't have to do those. You can just keep writing. Okay. The Odyssey by Homer. Homer is a man. So you would usually say the Odyssey by Homer is a story about Greek mythology and a soldier named Odysseus who tries to go home but cannot because he has to go through some sea monsters, many different obstacles, and other gods. So goddesses is included in gods, and using that slash is not formal enough for an essay. So where you can't use and/or, same thing. You don't want to use gods/goddesses. The story Christine, by Stephen King is about a haunted car from the 50s. And maybe let's say, and the kid, because this kid is kind of informal, and the kid who bought it from an old man. Even though everyone tried to tell him that it was haunted. The book, oh, it's a story. Okay, the story. And make sure you do it like this. In the shadow of war. Now, your job is to make sure every time you wrote in the shadow of war throughout your essay that you fix that. The story in the shadow of war by Ben Okri is about shadows. No. Oh, maybe you are talking about a totally different book that I don't know. So this must be like this. Okay, please fix this because I'm not sure what you mean. If it is a book, if it really is a book, and it's called Shadow War, then you want to go ahead and make sure that you are italicizing it. Okay, these three, no capital, stories all have supernatural creatures and talk about things that cannot be explained. Okay, take out the capital here. The theme of supernatural has an impact on literature. So this should be your very last sentence. And it should say, just like your thesis did in, let's see, the Odyssey, Superman and Me, and In the Shadow of War. Okay, so this part, all of these need to come before what the three stories have in common. But I'm still confused about what stories you're using. So every story you're using needs to be in your thesis statement. And I know that you changed some things. So make sure you go back and clarify your introduction so that it really reflects the stories that you're going to use in your essay. Okay, I'm going to read through one body paragraph, see what you can do to fix it, and then I will go on to the conclusion. Okay, the theme of supernatural has an impact on the Odyssey. Make sure that's capitalized, italicized. Same thing here, too. The capitalized, italicized. The Odyssey has tales of three-headed, usually like this, sea monsters that every time you slice one of their heads off, another head would grow in its place. Ooh. Another way the supernatural impacts the Odyssey, make sure you're fixing that, is in the book is where, how about when the characters, when Odysseus, maybe to be specific, when Odysseus and his crew go to the underworld, how everyone goes there, okay, when they die, no matter whether they have been good or bad, and the crew meets spirits there, so like in the underworld as well. Okay, so you have some really awesome examples. You've got this one too about the witches and the cyclops and all these kinds of things, but you need quotations. You need quotations to prove what you're saying. You need to prove that the supernatural has an impact on the story. What is the impact on the story? It's it makes the story more interesting. It creates obstacles for the characters. It scares the heck out of them sometimes. It makes them turn into completely different people, like they're scared, and makes it situations where Odysseus has to prove himself, but also he has to ask for help from the other gods. These are the impacts that these things have. So you have some really good examples here, but you want to make sure you have those quotations to really prove what you're saying. Because you can say whatever you want, but unless you have some proof, those quotations, no one's going to believe you. And then after the quotations, you want to put in some analysis that says, see, this is the specific impact on the Odyssey that this quotation has. So go ahead and work on that for all of your body paragraphs. They're a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. You'll fix it. It's just the draft. This is cool. Okay, readers can see that the supernatural has an impact on literature. Let's start with this. In the Odyssey, in the Odyssey, a man named Odysseus goes to war and cannot go home good because he has to face many obstacles, and including monsters. How about and gods, because you're talking about the supernatural. So he can go home. Sorry about that extra space. Okay, so do this same thing with your other stories, and then you need a concluding sentence to end off your essay. So you're doing well. You're on the right track. You have some things that you want to add in to write a really true essay. And the thing is that you are going to 10th grade. You want to be sure that you know how to write a really clear essay, really explanatory, but that you have that proof in there and that you know how to connect it back to your thesis. So please come and see me if you have some extra questions or if there's any way that I can help you make your final essay better. And otherwise, I look forward to reading your final.